It's very exciting to be here introducing the Arbortext web editor and reviewer. This has been in the making for some time, and it's an exciting day here at Arbortext to be able to introduce this to you. So with that, I'm going to go to our agenda and walk through the other people on the call here. We'll go through an introduction of our new tool for the web editor and reviewer. Patty Lutsky will go through our use cases and key features of the new product. And then we'll hand this off to Denis DeBlano. Denis will go through our product demonstration. And then Scott Thompson will also assist and host our Q&A here. We do have some additional panelists on the call. Oberon Technologies is joining us. We have Todd Burden and Vi Kellerson from Oberon. And then it is my pleasure to introduce, we have our customer that is in production with this tool. Ray DeChant from Steris is on the call as well, and will be able to participate in the Q&A panel discussion. So with that, we'll get started here. So we have a new collaborative tool to assist in your authoring, editing, and especially the review process. It is an XML-based content, but you do not need to know XML. It is a nice, simplified interface that you'll be able to use in a browser. Very exciting. So the value is definitely that this is a browser-based capture tool. You'll be able to engage with your subject matter experts in engineering and manufacturing. You will see that this will help improve the accuracy and traceability of the subject matter expert's contribution. It will simplify that review process. It has a simplified interface that will help speed up the process. And the goal is to start your documentation process earlier. So the way Arbortext thinks of our product set, we have a create, manage, deliver in 3 different pillars here. And you can see where I've circled the new tool set is definitely under the create. It will streamline that contribution and review, but it is connected to Windchill. It is built into the product set, and you'll be able to stay connected and manage your content in Windchill. It is part of the digital thread for service here. And here is the products under Create, Manage, Deliver. So you can see where the new product falls here under the Create pillar. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Patty to go through our use cases and key features.
Thanks, Deb. So, hi, I'm Patty Lutsky. I'm Product Management Director for the Arbortext Business Unit. And really the key use cases for this tool is to capture the product or service information directly from subject matter experts. And this really allows you to have the concurrent collaboration for authoring and review. You could also, if you are, say, a technical author, use this tool to make minor edits to content components. It's definitely not a replacement for Arbortext Editor, but it does allow for some content editing. It does allow, it always maintains valid XML content, but you don't have to see the XML tagging. You don't have to be aware that it's XML behind the scenes. You can also create new content components with it. And it is integrated with Windchill, so you can launch the review process from Windchill. And Denis will give a much more comprehensive demo of that going forward. So next slide, Deb. So this is showing the editor side. And really, again, the use cases for content editing, you can edit existing components that are in Windchill. And you can see the content in either a map context, or you could see the topics individually. And you can create new components as well. So, creating components based on templates that have been set up for you. So here are some key features of the web editor. As I mentioned, it's designed for casual contributors, subject matter experts, or casual or light authoring. It definitely does not replace all the functionality of Arbortext Editor. It does allow for copy and paste from sources such as Word or PDF. It also allows for drag and drop so that you, for instance, within a list, you can reorder a list and move paragraphs around, that sort of thing. As I mentioned, it does support a map or bookmap view. It has real-time XML validation. You're always dealing with valid XML. It does have the ability to assign attribute values, and that is configurable as far as which attributes are able to be assigned. You can insert graphics into your content, either uploading them or inserting graphics that are already in Windchill. And as we mentioned, it is designed to work with content that's stored in Windchill. There's a built-in integration with Windchill. And you can hopefully see in the screenshot there is no markup that's visible in the editing screen. Now, the web reviewer tool, this one allows, rather than editing the content itself, it allows the subject matter experts to add commentary on the content without actually needing the ability to, for instance, check out the content or make changes directly in it. So it instead, as you could see, there's a panel to the right where you can add annotations and comments. It does support real-time collaboration, so you can have more than one person adding their comments on the same topic at the same time. It allows some metadata about the comment. So, something like what type of comment are you adding, why. And it does also allow you to tie your comments to a particular spot in the document. So in the example where some of the text is highlighted, you might want to make a specific comment about a specific piece of text, maybe suggest a different wording. Then also the tech author can use this interface as well, can sort of filter through the comments and can actually manage the disposition of the comments in here. So, you might say, okay, I agree with that change and I made it, that sort of thing is available in this interface. And then once again, this whole suite is designed for working with content stored in Windchill, although these comments for the web reviewer tool are not stored in Windchill. They're actually stored in a separate database. Now, as the product manager, I always get to be the one with the reality check, if you will, on the capabilities. So I do want to mention some limitations with regards to this tool. First of all, I will say we're hoping for a March release. As with anything that hasn't happened yet, it's always subject to change. But our goal is for this coming March. A few limitations. Okay, it currently only supports basic authentication to Windchill. So if you're using something like form-based or multi-factor, that's not initially supported. It's currently not certified for Windchill that's hosted in the cloud, in the PTC cloud. The UI is currently only in English. Now you can contract with professional services from Oberon to get the UI in other languages. There are some XML constructs that the web editor cannot handle. I'm sure you all know, Arbortext editor has been enhanced over the years to handle many XML constructs. So here are some that we're aware of that the web editor is not able to open. For instance, CData, XML space, entities, key content references, inline SVG graphics, and then namespace markup in general. And then there is no interoperability with the Arbortext change tracking. So the idea is that, the expectation is that you'll be using the reviewer or using other direct edits, in the content itself. And then the initial product, it supports DITA, and it supports our PTC specialization of DITA called Tech Info that many of you know from our SPII product. Other specializations or document types can be supported, but they would require engaging with Oberon for professional services to work with other document types. Now, I saw a lot of questions come through. Hopefully some of those were answered in line, but if not, I'll review them and we'll definitely have a Q&A follow-up at the end of this session. Okay, I think now Denis is going to give us a demonstration.
Yes, thank you, Patty. I will share my screen. I think you can see it now. So the demonstration will illustrate the typical scenario where we think the web editor and the web reviewer can fit. In this scenario, we'll have several roles involved, several people who will be using the tools. And I would say all the tools, including Windchill, Arbortext editor. The purpose is really to display the web editor and web reviewer in context with the other tools. So in this scenario, we'll have first a publication manager who will identify the need for a new document component, a new topic. We will create it, and this will send a request to an SME who will be typically a designer, a product designer who knows the product, who knows the technical details which need to be added to the documentation, but this person will not be a professional technical writer and will not be aware of XML and of the XML structures which are used in the company. So this person will use the web editor, and when the draft of the document will be completed, a task will be sent to a professional author who will be using the Arbortext editor. And when the authoring is done, there will be a review process where other SMEs will be involved. Any person who may have something to say about the content of the document will be able to review and comment the document using the web reviewer. And this will be potentially looping between those reviewers and the technical author who will adjust the content of the document and will republish or make the result available to the reviewer to finally approve the content of this new topic. And everything will be managed and driven by Windchill. And as you know, it will be possible to publish that content at any moment, but this will not be part of the documentation of the presentation. Sorry. To support this scenario, we implemented some small Windchill custom workflow. This is a screenshot coming from Windchill, which shows the workflow implementing this scenario with tasks. the first task will be for the publication manager to decide who will be involved in the workflow by selecting the participants. And then we will have a drafting task for the SME, and then an authoring task for the technical author, and then a review process with the loop here. And eventually the document will be released and the workflow will be completed. And this workflow is based on a custom lifecycle. So just to make things clear, this Windchill workflow is not part of the product. It's just a custom workflow we created for the demo. And as you know, it is pretty easy to create such workflows in Windchill. There is no need for heavy programming. So that's quite simple to implement. And let's go with the demonstration. So first step, the publication manager will connect to Windchill. We'll go to an information structure in Windchill and we'll create a new topic. So selecting the type of topic, the authoring language, and entering some name, some title for this new document. As soon as this is done, the topic was inserted in the information structure, we can go to the list of tasks and we see that the publication manager got the task for setting the participants. So a design engineer will be added as the person in charge of drafting. So, and at the same time, you see that my email told me that I got an email warning me about this task. So we selected the technical author, the SME who will be drafting, and the reviewers who will be involved in this workflow. And when it's done, I will say that, yeah, my task is complete. So another task will be generated for Dave, who is a design engineer in charge of drafting the content of this topic. He got a task, he got an email, and if Dave is going to his email, he will find a link, a URL, a link, which will launch directly the web editor. As soon as the web editor page open, he can start typing, and this will check out the file, the document in Windchill, and he can start fill the kind of form here, which is based on a template which can be managed in Windchill. It can be the same template as the one used for Arbortext editor. And he can start entering text or removing the unused elements. And as you can see at the top of this window, there are menus, and the menus are dedicated to the XML structure, and the menu is presenting the typical XML elements that are used within the topic. So here you can insert a table defining the number of columns and rows, setting the header of the table, entering the title for the columns. All the capabilities you may know in Arbortext editor for editing tables are available here. You can add a new row and expand the display of the table if you want to have more space for editing it. As you could see, I could merge cells and I can enter the content of my cells. Dave will add some additional content, add a sub-step to this task. And yeah. And at the end, he will check in the content in Windchill. So now we iterated the document in Windchill. The drafting is done, and we will tell the system that it's done by completing the task. And this will send a new task to Pat, who is the technical author in charge of, let's say, streamlining and finalizing the content in Arbortext editor. And Pat got an email as well. And from this email, we have a link, a URL, to open the web editor or to open the Arbortext editor, as we can see here. So Pat is connecting to Arbortext editor and will do some editing in the content which was previously created. So the file is checked out, and the technical author thinks that there is some terminology which is not good, that maybe the structure is not really as expected, that some specific tags shall be added. Like here, we are adding hyperlink to another topic in Windchill. So from the Arbortext editor, it will be possible to search for the target topic for that link, or to navigate the database as we are doing here, selecting the target topic and inserting a real cross-reference or real hyperlink within the XML content. That's the kind of thing which is supposed to be easy for a technical author and which may not be so easy for a design engineer who doesn't know exactly how things are stored and managed in Windchill. So after this content improvement, we complete the authoring task, and we go to the next step, which is to review what was authored. So we have two people involved here. First, we have Dave, and same thing from the task in Windchill or from the email Dave got. Dave can launch the web reviewer. The web reviewer is very similar to the web editor, except that, of course, you will not be able to modify directly the content, but the content is displayed the same way. And here we have this tab on the right where we can insert comment. So global comments on the documents or specific comments which are attached to the selected content. And here we are proposing to make a change. So we selected some text and we are adding how we would like this text to be replaced in the content. And we will see later how this is handled. And here we are adding a new comment saying that we should add some additional information to what was initially authored. And when done, in parallel, we have the other reviewer who is working using the task, starting from the task in Windchill and also launching the web editor, the web reviewer. What's important here is that we have two users who are working in parallel on the same content for commenting and proposing changes to the content. So it means that the document itself is not checked out, but all the users can add their own comments to the same piece of content. The second users could see the first comments entered by Dave, and in parallel, Dave can see the new comments added by Dennis. So the comments are updated, are synchronized, I would say, between the users. So I think they will be done. They will tell the system that they are done, and just by going to the task and completing the Windchill task. And they say that, yeah, definitely the author needs to rework on the content of the document. So that's what's happening. Pat, the technical author, will get again this task for authoring. The status of the document is set back to in work, and this time Pat, the technical author, will use the web editor to see the comments which were added by Dave and Dennis. Here we have this proposed change, and if the author is happy with it, it just has to click on apply the change, and as you could see, the content is automatically replaced. And Pat can say, okay, I accept the comment, I have done the modification, I can change the status of the comment. Here, Pat is working on the other comment and will add some more information on the text of the cross-reference, which was previously created. And same thing, we will consider that, yeah, the comment is approved and resolved. And yeah, maybe it will get some additional comment coming from someone who is still reviewing the content. You can see that comment in the initial context in the version of the document where the comment was added. So you can take the comment into account, again, view the initial context of the comment and take this into account. And add a new prerequisite in the content of this task. And when done, we are saving, checking in this new version of the topic and say that, yeah, all the comments were approved and resolved. And the technical author will tell the system that this new revision of the content, sorry, new iteration of the content, the modification have been taken into account. So the document is sent back to the reviewer for the final approval of the content. So again, it is the same story, the task for the reviewer, showing the new iteration for the document. From here, we will be able to launch the reviewer, the web reviewer again, see that, yeah, basically all the comments were approved, and verify that, yeah, this new version of the document is good. And that time, we will approve the content, and which will change the lifecycle state of the document. So now if we go back to the location where this new topic was stored in Windchill, with the latest version A4 for the document. And of course, we can launch again the web reviewer. And by the way, I said that all the comments were resolved, but they are still available for the users. It means that the comments can be filtered based on their status and based on their type. As you can see, we have editorial comments or technical comments. So all these are attributes of the comments that can be used to filter the comments and navigate within the comments. So here, if we want to make sure we can go back to the version and iteration of the document at the time the comment was inserted. And that is the end of the demonstration.